Well, unlike shad, bluegills are found just about everywhere. And the good thing is, bass eat them all year long. Well, if we really understand this prey species and some of the characteristics about bluegills and these type of panfish, it means we're gonna put ourselves in positions to be more successful more often of the time. Probably one of the most misunderstood facts about gills is that they will spawn multiple times a year. Now, usually that first spawn is going to be right after the bass. Usually that next full moon, the bluegills are going to get up super heavy on the beds. But they will continue to spawn throughout the summertime, not necessarily in those same huge numbers, but I have found fresh panfish beds, fresh bluegill beds on my home lake all the way through August and into early September. Well, when that is going on, that is going to drive all kinds of predators shallow. And even if they aren't actively feeding right up on top of those beds, start to check that deeper water, the first break, some heavy cover that is just away from them. And most of the time, there's going to be some predators and some bass hanging out near those areas. Next is bluegills can just be in a massive range of sizes. So every time you go out on the water or a new body of water, you want to do a little bit of experimenting with the size of your lures. Maybe you're fishing a place in a particular day where they're just eating smaller panfish, smaller bluegills, 3 to 4 inches in size. And then you might go out on some days and they're really feeding on the big ones. So if you're imitating bluegills, okay, with your lures, make sure that you're experimenting with smaller sizes and bigger sizes, and that's going to help you figure out how to maybe get more bites or hopefully a better quality bite. This next one I really learned by doing all my underwater filming, and it just absolutely is amazing to me the color spectrum that bluegills have. When I'm down there in this clear water in a sunny type of a situation, it almost feels like I'm filming a coral reef. They've got just so many colors, and the sun will shine through their fins and kind of have this translucent blue on the edges. So that has really helped me, depending if there's sunshine or clouds. I'm going to pick some bluegill patterns, some lures that maybe are going to have a wider range of colors in them. Now, I use bluegills as a very general term, but we know that there's like red ear and there's pumpkin seed and there's just all kinds of different types of panfish. So having some lures that match what you've got in your home waters is something you're going to want to do with your lure selection. The next thing is you can always find bluegills shallow. Now, the key is that doesn't necessarily mean near the shore. When I've been out filming throughout the summer and into the fall, there are times where I'm going to find gills up in the top part of the water column, but they are way out in the middle of the lake. They might be loosely relating to a submerged weed bed, or maybe there's a rock pile out there, or who knows what's going on that pulls them out there. And then they will also get pretty deep. I have filmed some massive schools of gills offshore in deep water. I'm talking that 25, 30, 35 foot range. But the really good thing is if you do happen to have a boat and electronics, they're really easy to pick up. These big schools are easy to pick up on your electronics. And anytime you see that, there's probably going to be some bass in that general area as well. And here's another really cool thing about focusing on bluegills and panfish. Whenever I used to go to a new body of water in the past, I would avoid areas that had panfish anglers all over it. Well, I have really changed my mindset on that. If you pull into a lake and you see, a few boats over in one particular bay or, working down a shoreline and they're all catching panfish, you can almost guarantee there's going to be all kinds of predators and hopefully bass in that area as well. And I've started to apply this recently, and I'll tell you what, I've had some of the best fishing trips I have ever had when going to different bodies of water when I keep that in mind. And as bass anglers, we love it when bass are shallow. Well, if you would like to watch another video that talks about some factors that will push bass shallow, especially in the summertime, go ahead and check this one out right here. And make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.